So good morning to all. It's been really nice to be here. Thanks to Walt and great support from Pushkarji. So I'll be speaking on this very interesting water system from the medieval times in India. This is one such photograph of the system that I am working in Bidar. Right. So the presentation has been structured in such a manner that one understands what the system is first, and then we go on to a video at the end, which was done by the BBC, a very short video. So we'll try to understand what the history of Qanat does, what the spatial distribution and geographical setting is, a little bit on classification of Qanats in India, some character defining elements, how the systems are different from each other, and we'll discuss in detail on the project that I'm working on in Bidar, and we'll see a short video. So what Qanat or Treatise is, basically it's a term that tries to define a channel, or it's Arabic word which is being used in Persian for a long time now. So it either means a channel or a tunnel which is below the ground to carry water. Right? It can be shallow, it can be deep enough to be below the water table. So you'll find two terms which are commonly used in Persian region. One is the Qanat and the Treatise. Both nearly mean the same. Treatise is more of a Persian word. The Qanat is more of an Arabic word. And you'll find Qanats, and as per the ICQHS data, this is ICQHS International Center for Qanat Hydraulic Systems, which is located in Tehran. It's a UNESCO body. They do a lot of research on Qanats and do conservation activities within Iran, basically. So lots of training programs, etc., are organized as well. So they look into around 38,000 functional Qanat systems in Iran, and which supply water to most of the cities, especially in the drier belt. What you call Daste Lut, Daste Kabir, such kind of deserts, desertic environments as such. Yaz, Diya, there are so many cities that receive water from there. And you'll find Qanats have spread from possibly from Persian region to rest of towards east as well as towards west. If I put into this map, so you'll find it has gone across various places from Persian region. So the origin is slightly considered to be along the Persian as well as the Turkish border, where there were copper mines. This is from the documentations that has been done by Henry Gobolt. So he has written a paper in French, so I found it very difficult to get it translated, so somehow got it done. And then I could understand that it is somewhere from there it has started. And towards east, it has reached China and India, and possibly through the migrations and the connections India and Persia had, and probably through the Silk Route to China. And towards east, you will find it has towards west, basically, it has reached even the American continents, and possibly it was the Spaniards who took it to the South America as well as North America. I'm not sure where exactly in North America it is there, because there are no written records that I could find or references I could find. But in South America, there are so many of them in Peru and Chile area, right, which is possibly drier belt. Right? So toward again, how it came to India is still. We probably like to believe that it has come through the Persian connections. Now let's try to just understand what the system is all about. So it is nothing but a tunnel system which is below the ground, right? So it sometimes does cut the water table. Right? So water table is nothing but the what you call the line of water that is the saturated zone that we have below the surface. So once you dig a well, the water level that you find in the well can be considered as the water table of that particular area. Right? So that's the easiest way to understand. So here what they used to do in Iran is to, if a community needed water, it has to be brought from long distances, especially the northern hills, the Elbrus mountains. So the slopes of Elbrus mountains were used to draw water, especially the snow melt waters were diverted through these tunnel systems to villages. So they used to dig huge wells there, which the initial wells are called the mother wells, right, which draws the water from either from snow melt or from the subsurface infiltration that happens into these sediment deposited soils or sedimentary soil that is there, and this is then further carried to the where you have a village or a settlement. So to keep it maintained, or during the construction, what they do is that they keep on building air vents or wells at equal interval. So most of these air vents that you will find in Iran are round, with maybe barely enough space for one person to go down. And some of these air vents are much deeper. You'll find some are nearly 200 to 300 feet deep, right? Now, so this, the few things one has to understand. You have the first well that is sunk, is called the mother well, right? And the tunnel that is dug is called a channel, tunnel, or a Qanat gallery. So I'll be normally using the term Qanat gallery. And you have these vents which are there connecting to the surface. These are called as air vents. And the exit is called the Qanat mouth. Now, some of the systems you will not find exit at all, right? Because it just goes into, they just connect it to pipelines and extend it further. So only few places I have found a real mouth, and that is only in Bidar that we have been able to see a very clear cut mouth kind of a thing. Now this is the aerial view, right, where you will find, if you look into a satellite imagery of Iran, you will find lots of holes on the surface, series of holes you will find leading towards the city. So there will be many lines of canals that are connecting into a city area as such. So huge numbers of canals exist in Iran. Now they are known by different names in different countries. So Iran, you have the normal common term that is used as Qanat. Iraq, you will find the Karez is much common term than Qanat. Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India, it is called Karez or Kariz. Now in Afghanistan, another interesting thing is that it all started with the Hindu Kush mountains. So Hindu Kush mountains, you will find the southern side only receives rainfall. The northern side doesn't receive much rainfall. So and that also it receives during the summer season. So it was very important to transfer water from the southern side to the northern side where the entire land is. So they had dug up the mountain, Hindu Kush mountain, to the other side. So you have so many channels in the Hindu Kush mountains, which are which is now being used by the Talibans and the others, the Osamas, right, who are there in this particular area, and US forces have been fighting them. Right. So you have lots of them. Morocco, Khitara, Retara, some of them are under the sand dunes. So very interestingly, still functional. That is, you have nearly most of the countries it has reached. That is what you can find. Now in India, you have them in these 6 cities, except this is not a city as such. This is still a what do you call, maybe a town like that, very comparatively very smaller one. It is very close to Belgaum, but rest of them are cities with maybe population approximately to 10 lakh, 1 million, right? 1 million. Bidar, we consider it will be the first one where Qanats were first constructed, and then the rest followed. So this is in that sequence, possible sequence, because there are no historical records, written records available, no, when they started or who constructed them, except for Ahmednagar and Aurangabad. Ahmednagar, Aurangabad and Burhanpur. We have very clear records who constructed them, when they were constructed, and what was the purpose of construction. But rest of them, we don't have a written format or historical, or even the chroniclers have not documented it. You know, some well-known chronicler like Farishta, he talks about lots about intrigues and other things within the courts, but he never talks about these water systems or facilities. So you have these many systems, and two major cities which have lot of systems, 15 to 16 systems, right? So these are all comparatively smaller systems when compared to those that are there in Iran. The longest one in Iran is 80 kilometers, right? It is the Gonabad. They are covered so that no one goes in, and it is it has a dome-shaped structure, probably used as a what you call, so that no one understands what it is, or maybe someone takes it as a what you call, misguidance is given to the invaders, probably, so that they don't destroy the water systems. Right? So this is Bijapur, and even some pipelines. This is one destroyed pipeline, you can say, ruins. So this pipeline is the width of the pipeline is somewhere around 16 inches. Right, you can imagine, huge. And this is just 1 feet long, and they are coupled together, and then lime mortar is applied. So it is within the lime concrete, and they have been taking it for kilometers together. So sometimes they need to maintain the pressure of water, so they build such kind of structure. So you have pipes that are running like this inside, right? And some of them are open on the top with maybe a small cistern kind of a thing, so that the pressure is again built up, and then it goes again to the next thing. Now the height of this is maintained with the height at the source, so that the pressure level is same, and then it is further taken to the city. Now these are the different galleries that we find in India. This is Ahmednagar. Now Ahmednagar and Aurangabad, the gallery is something different to that of what we have in rest of the places. Now here, what they have done is they have done open trenching, because the soil is, the geology crumbles much faster, because it is vesicular basalt. So it is the basalt that comes out in a very powderish manner. So you will find it comes out in flakes. So for that, what they have done is they have taken deep trenches, then they have put a roof over it, and covered it up. So no one knows that there is a system that is right below the city. Both in Aurangabad and Aurangabad, you will find that, Aurangabad and Ahmednagar. In Burhanpur, it's again alluvial soil, because it is right on the edge of the Deccan Plateau, as well as the alluvial fans of Satpura. So a lot of sedimentary material there. So inside certain places where the section is likely to collapse, they have used bricks, right, burnt bricks, to baked bricks, not normally, so to protect the entire structure. Now Burhanpur, there is a natural protection also that has come through, is the lime, calcium deposit that happens naturally. So that is providing now much more strength to the entire structure. Right? Bijapur, there are two systems. One is open trenching has also happened, and there is tunneling as well. Right? Now, Bidar and Burhanpur are same from the perspective of entire thing has been tunneled. There is no open trenching that has happened, and both of them are fully based on groundwater. Both of them don't have any access to surface water as such. So coming to the story of Bidar. So Bidar is only place where you will find a Qanat mouth very clearly visible. Right? And most of the other places you will not find a Qanat mouth. So this is the best place. No, that is why we have been trying to press to develop this into a water museum, so that people can go, see, experience what a Qanat is. So this is Bidar is located in northern Karnataka. Right, this is Karnataka state of India. So you have northeastern district of Bidar. Karnataka is Bidar, and this is the cultural landscape of Bidar. Right? So you have some of these places Walt and his team visited. So you have so much, beautiful history to be showcased in entire Bidar, and all of them are small landscapes of significance within the entire historical landscape of Bidar as such. Right? Some of them are really old. For example, this one, this Maidar temple. There are 116 ponds, right, of which only 10 are now visible, right, and it is considered that you have to take bath in every one of these ponds and you will be achieving moksha. Right, this is so this is in Bidar, this is the municipal boundary, the urban boundary. There are 3 systems that are there. 2 are within the city, right? One, it actually starts from the fort area, within the fort area, and flows into the the public enclosure, from the royal enclosure to the public enclosure. And there is one which is right outside the city, which is supplying water to the moat, and 2 to 3 villages outside the city, which is some prominent villages like the Brahmin villages, Agraharas. So they had exclusive pipeline supply from one of the water systems too. So it's very interesting to note that though it was Mohammedan rulers who were ruling the city, they had provided exclusive water supply to Brahminical settlement. That is very interesting. And the system I am working on is 4 miles north of Bidar. Now this is a new place where they had tried to think and develop a new settlement. So that is why it is called Naubad, new settlement, new Abadi, that is what we call in Hindi. So new settlement was being developed, and the first thing that they were doing was to develop a water system, right? So I'll just take you through the one of these water systems, that is this is within the public enclosure. So this actually starts from inside the fort, right, inside the royal enclosure. Inside the royal enclosure there is a lake. That lake again has a history associated with the formation or establishment of Bidar itself. So it is said that Ahmad Shah Wali, when he was on probably on a trip to some, or maybe he was having a war with someone else, and while returning back, his army was thirsty and wanted to find water. So he ends up in Bidar, very near to the fort, and meets a shepherd and asks for to show him some water. So the shepherd shows him the spring which has been later on developed into the water system as such. Then the king likes the spot, and he asked the shepherd, can you show us a place where we can have build a settlement or a fort. So this shepherd makes a deal with the the king, that he has to have his village within the fort. That was one. Even now you will find the village within the fort. And secondly, the lake that he is planning to build should have his name. So the name of the lake, even now it is called Bomkondeshwara Lake. So this is what the folklore mentions about this particular thing, and that is the only folklore. Again, it is written in Marathi, not in Kannada, though it is Karnataka. This folklore only has a mention of the Qanat systems having been built in by the Bahmanis, especially Ahmad Shah Wali. So it very clearly says Ahmad Shah Wali builds nehers, right, during this particular period. So there is no other mention you will find in this one. So now again, this within the city, it connects most of the important buildings, and there were two public fountains, and these fountains were located in Usmanganj Market, and the other one in Mahbubganj Market. And it went through one of the, it had channels connecting one of the largest madrasa or universities of at the time, the Mahmud Gawan Madrasa. Right? So this is a royal enclosure, and this is the lake I am talking about. So the system runs like this and goes into the city area. And this second system, which comes nearly 6 kilometers away, it actually feeds this moat, which is triple moat, and this has a system wherein it goes around, swings around the various triple moat and enters into the fort area and fills up this tank. Right? Now, interesting thing is they can block this, right? But this system, which is running from the city, can never be touched by the enemy. So the entire city has water supply, even though even though they can be on a siege by outside forces, and they had agriculture within this. Even within the fort, public enclosure as well as the royal enclosure, there was agriculture going on. So self-sufficiency was there as such. At least the royal families could survive. Right. So from here you have pipelines running to some of the small, especially the Brahmanical villages. So this is the cross section of the Naubad Karez. So interestingly, Naubad Karez is cutting the water table like in the initial sections itself. So water table is high, probably it was much higher. So this place where they have dug up this tunnel system had a spring, which is documented in the history. And Farista also mentions about 7 springs, and one of the spring is Aliabad spring. So this is this entire system has been dug at this particular location. So I was checking how come this could happen that they. So then I found, after checking lots of geology or studying geology, I found that this has been built right on a lineament or a fracture. So you have a continuous flow of water that is happening from this. So very interestingly, they were able to do it right on a geologic fracture. Interesting thing is that it is running against the surface slope. So you'll find surface slope is on towards one side, and the tunnel system runs towards the opposite side. Right. So the way it has been constructed, you have both the construction going on simultaneously, horizontal as well as vertical. So otherwise it may not have been possible to complete it in a much faster manner, and possibly each of these sections were done by different artisans. Right. So you'll find the shapes are different and the size are different in most of the sections. So and they always had they left their symbols inside. Right? Possibly you'll find some areas where the Bahmani arch has been carved into this laterite. This one. Right. So this is what I have been doing. So a lot of activities going on. So initially when I ended up in 2012, I started mapping them because no one knew where it was, where it started, where it only they had one huge tunnel to show me, and they said it might be some escape route of then times. And I took the courage to go in because you have lots of bats inside, lots of porcupines inside, snakes inside, right? So lots of things, but there was no water as such. So it was dry. Many people were afraid the certain sections had collapsed. Then I started going in. Every day it was a new exploration. I took 2 laborers with me, and I used to climb down with the help of a rope into these vents and crawl down into these small spaces. So like that, I was able to map the entire water system. This one, because this is I found that it is much more. We could rejuvenate it, restore it, and maybe provide water to the people, because people were still using it for irrigation as well as for as potable water. So So a lot of things. So I started stakeholder consultations. I found that none of the people belong to Bidar who are living in this particular area, and they don't have any understanding or interest to understand what the system is. Then we did a lot of campaigns with them, try to make them understand, and then the people started cooperating. Right? So when people started cooperating, things started happening much more faster. Then I did some other studies which are related to hydrogeology and all. So the methodology followed has three main things. One is the cultural resources, land resources, socio-economics, and the policy side of it, how it can be addressed. So a lot of inputs going in to develop a conservation plan. Few character defining elements. This is one of the farmhouses which Walt and his team visited as well. So this is somewhere, it actually shows the cultural assimilation the entire region is having. So you'll find the Mohammedan arch that is there, which is of Bahmani times, and you'll find the symbols that are of Hindu or the Hindu motifs on the wood, right? The Ganapati, the horse, or maybe some other symbols that are there, Om, etc. So there is an acceptance of different cultural scenarios. And what you find here is the jaggery making units, because sugarcane probably came. So this shows that sugarcane probably came some 200 years ago to this particular area. So it is not that it came very recently, or it became much more faster, or the spread was much more faster in the recent days, because the cooperative industry, sugar industries became much more efficient in this southern part of India. And again, it is much more cheaper crop to cultivate, because you just need to plant it, water it. You need not do anything else. It will grow on its own. Right? Just water is the only thing that is required. So these are some very interesting character defining elements. You have the footholds. Right? So these are the footholds that I had to climb down, and most of the time with just a single rope protecting me. Right? Right. So the initial conditions were like this. Most of the air vents were like this, with lots of trees growing, lots of bats inside, lots of snakes, especially you have vipers and cobras. Right? And
there are no administrators in here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but just checking.
And inside part we found lots of things. You know, people used to dump waste because it is just an abandoned well. So even we found carcasses of animals lying there. And then we started the work, tried to educate people. So the and you have the social forestry program, which is all haywire. No, they don't have any idea of the biogeographical zones of India, and they should have actually suggested something that is suitable for this area. But what they are doing is they are suggesting something that is plants that suck away the water, so like Gliricidia or eucalyptus, etc. So these have come from the age-old British system, wherein they use the eucalyptus as a plant to do social forestry, and it actually supported their industries as well. So we did a lot of condition assessments in the initial phase, so to find out what the condition of the entire tunnel system is and the vents are, and where and all debris is there, what is the level of the debris. So this was done so that we have a very clear understanding of what is to be done in the future. We did the land use mapping, and we find that the pink color area, right, what you find is expanding much faster. It is the urban, right, it is just outside the city, but the land is much cheaper here, so you have more expansion that is happening. So we did study the geology. This is what I was talking about, the fracture zones within the laterite, because the laterite lies right above the basalt. So which is 90 feet of laterite, 60 to 90 feet of laterite, and then you have this very hard basalt. So because of which laterite becomes a very good aquifer. Laterite is a highly porous rock, porous material. So whatever you pour, it just seeps in much faster than anything else. Right? So we did a lot of studies on rainfall related issues, and we find August to September, October, that is a period where you get good amount of rainfall every year in Bidar. We identified delineated actually the watersheds, and then I started working on the watershed related conservation plan. We were monitoring the water table continuously for, I think I have since 2012 I have been doing this, so I know how much fluctuation is happening now. So this is from September 2015. So you'll find it's all dry. So these are places where even if you dig 25-30 meters, you will not find water. So only one area where you have this green shade, it is around 2 meter. At 2 meter, the water is available. That's again a fracture zone. So with the help of actually one slide that has gone below, right? So with the help of that, we created this geohydrology maps, and then further we got it into what you call identifying the recharge zones, right? So those zones which can help the system survive for a longer duration. So 3 zones were identified. One is the forest zone, which is again under a bit degraded condition because it is entirely eucalyptus plantation there. The second zone is much more protected because it is under the Air Force, and there is a buffer zone for the airport it is required. So that area remains always open to agriculture. So that is good as such. Even if there is no vegetation and if there is agriculture, the rainfall actually seeps in and it goes in. So there is a recharge of groundwater that is happening. The third zone is where a lot of pressure is happening, right? A lot of change, land use change is happening. So that is where the entire the mother well and the few initial wells are located. So this is the place where we are trying to protect now. There is a new highway that is being planned just right next to the mother well. So this we have given it to the local government so that they can take actions on it. Right? So I'll just take you through some of those photographs of restoration that we have been doing. So this is the initial phase of restoration. So this is where this is a small tank where the entire water from the Qanat system comes in, and people take make use of it from here. So this is so there is a small channel that runs to the mouth of the Qanat from here. So the cleaning process is on. So I brought this person from Kerala. So he is well known for digging surangams. So this guy has done, though you are not going to get a 24/7 water supply, except for Bijapur, which had during the 16th century, they had pipelined supply to at least some of the individual houses, and public could get it from fountains, the Ganj. So from Begum Talab. So all these wells, in around 50 of them I surveyed during that September 2015. They got recharged, and I have been continuing to monitor them. So till now, all of them have wells. So now people have people have become more enthusiastic, and they are coming forward, and they started understanding that revival of the system can help them. 2 major issues. One is the urbanization, because there is no control on what is happening on the ground, and second is sanitation. Walt and team knows how difficult it was to walk through some of the lanes within this. So this, on one side, there are few NGOs that have come forward and who are helping now. So solid waste management, how door-to-door collection is happening. Segregation is happening, some little bit of composting is also happening, but there is no, we have not been able to find a solution for the wastewater related issue. The municipal body has a STP, or the solid waste, sewage treatment plant, but there is no connecting line to it. So they have built one STP, but the system to take water to that, and wastewater to that particular system is not there. So that's the situation that we are in. There are protection laws, several of them. None of them is applied on the ground. So you have still issues. I have been working with this town planning department, so have been able to do a little bit of impact. So I have at least the watershed area, the demarcation boundary for the snowball carriers has been now accommodated into their master plan as protected area. But and they have put it very specifically no built zone, so that no more conversion of land from agriculture to urban has to happen. But still you will find some corruption related issues are still there, so you'll find some changes happening. Right? I'll just take you, this is, so this trip of mine led me to do this. So possibly in next 2 months I'll bring this out, and maybe you'll all have this. So I'll take you to a small video, and I'll stop this entire presentation. So this is a video that was done by BBC during 2017. I don't know where it is.
Escape.
Okay, so you can see these lamp holders.
Restarted.
This is where I went swimming 2 months ago.
I have pictures if people want to see.
Please do not share them. You promised
So you
that was
can
the
see these
mouth.
lamp holders, and the gallery has been constructed in a V shape so that it does not collapse. This is a system which actually draws groundwater. There are series of wells that are dug, and these wells are connected with the help of a tunnel. So the main well, which we call as the mother well, is dug at a place where there is good enough water, that is good source of water is there. And then it is taken to place where you want to create a settlement, or maybe you already have a settlement.
This tunnel was carved out of the rock 600 years ago by Persian engineers and Indian workmen using nothing more than pickaxes and shovels. Now the water's flowing again since the channel's been restored, and eventually when it rains, the level of water should come up to somewhere right up here over my head, supplying the needs of the community who live around here.
So all my mapping, etc., I did using normal mobile mapping applications. I might have surveyed around 800 odd wells, right, climbing up and down most of them, to find out which one has a tunnel and which one does not have it.
Around 50 odd wells in the surrounding areas, they started having water, right, and none of them have dried till late. This is May now, right, and it is still having good lot of water. So that shows that these traditional systems can